This is a remarkably unique historical figure, one we mention daily without much thought.
He is known as Cao Cao, a legendary politician and strategist from the 3rd century. Few realize that Cao Cao was the architect of the powerful Wei Kingdom during the chaotic Three Kingdoms era. His life is shrouded in countless legends, often described as 7 parts fact and 3 parts fiction. The mystery surrounding his final resting place has persisted for over 1,000 years, fueling endless speculation. Many have sought his tomb, yet the truth remains hidden, protected by the passage of time and clever deception. In 2009, archaeologists in Anyang, China, finally claimed to have discovered a tomb belonging to Cao Cao. This was a monumental breakthrough for archaeology, sparking global interest in the life of this complex ruler.
But how did they find this tomb? And what secrets did it reveal about the legendary Cao Cao?
Could there be more secrets buried beneath the earth, hidden by centuries of neglect?
Join us as we explore the mystery of the tomb and the man who shaped history.
Before we delve deeper, please support our channel by liking and subscribing. Your support helps us continue to create high-quality content for you to enjoy.
Now, let's begin our journey into the past.
The legends of Cao Cao's tomb have been told for generations, each more fascinating than the last.
The most famous legend concerns 72 fake tombs designed to confuse grave robbers.
It is said that on the day of his burial, 72 coffins left the city gates simultaneously.
Since that day, the location of his true tomb has remained a well-guarded secret of history.
Many have tried to find the real tomb, yet no one has succeeded in confirming its true location.
Throughout Chinese history, emperors have placed great importance on their burial sites.
They often chose locations with auspicious significance to ensure their legacy would last forever.
Some even selected their burial sites and began construction shortly after ascending the throne.
The historical figure in question was a different case entirely, defying the conventions of his time.
A statesman of his stature, with power equal to an emperor, yet he desired simplicity.
Before his death, he left clear instructions for his funeral to be modest and simple.
He ordered no burial mounds, no tree planting, and no gold or precious treasures inside his tomb.
This approach to his funeral left many scholars and historians puzzled to this day.
The way he handled his funeral arrangements sparked widespread curiosity among researchers. Some believe he was a cunning man, even in death, concealing his true intentions.
He had high standards for both himself and others, and he lived by his own code.
Even in death, he insisted on frugality, perhaps out of a desire for control.
Some suggest he accessed many ancient burial sites of previous rulers to fund his own military campaigns.
The memory of those ruined tombs haunted him, driving his decision to be buried modestly.
Others argue that his suspicious nature made him fear betrayal even after he was gone.
He wanted to prevent any potential revenge from his many enemies.
Those were merely rumors, spread by later generations to add to his mysterious reputation.
During his funeral, many people were present, and they all knew the exact location of his final resting place.
However, as the tides of history turned, his tomb was eventually lost to the chaos of war. Those who truly knew the location eventually passed away, taking the secret with them.
By the Tang Dynasty, the legend of the 72 tombs had taken root, persisting until the tomb was finally found. The tomb of Cao Cao remained a mystery for centuries, a subject of fascination and debate.
It wasn't until modern times that the truth began to emerge from the shadows of history. The discovery of the tomb was a serendipitous event, a stroke of luck that changed everything.
The story truly began in the spring of 2006, in a quiet, rural area of China.
It was the Chinese New Year, and families were busy preparing for the celebrations.
People in the village were enjoying the festivities, unaware of the history beneath their feet.
Suddenly, they heard a strange, unexplained noise during the celebration. It was a sound that would soon lead to a discovery that would captivate the world.
Like many other regions, the farmers here were beginning their work for the new season.
The man, a local farmer, was busy preparing his field when he noticed something odd. He was trying to divert water into his field, but the water wouldn't flow as expected.
He noticed that the water was disappearing into the ground, as if there was a hole.
This field, which usually took only a short time to fill, remained dry. For 2 days, he observed the water, becoming increasingly curious about the phenomenon. The water would reach a certain level and then simply stop, as if hitting a barrier.
He decided to investigate further, walking through the field to see what was underneath.
She found a hole about 10 meters deep, hidden beneath the surface of her field. Seeing such a large and deep hole, the farmer remembered the strange noise from the New Year.
He realized that something unusual was happening in his field.
The memory of the sound made him realize that this was no ordinary hole.
He knew this was a serious matter, so he reported his findings to the local authorities. The local officials quickly went to the site to investigate, but they found nothing special.
The hole was filled in, and the farmer continued his work as usual.
But just a few days later, a new hole appeared in the exact same spot.
The local authorities were baffled, and the news reached the ears of archaeologists. These experts were actively studying ancient sites and were intrigued by the farmer's report.
2 days later, the archaeological team arrived at the scene. The team leader decided to go down into the hole to inspect it himself.
Once he reached the bottom, he realized it wasn't just a simple hole.
The leader stood on a mound of loose soil, which caused him to sink into a deeper hole. He quickly turned on his flashlight, and he was struck by what he saw. He was standing in the middle of an ancient, grand tomb.
To his right, there was a doorway shaped like a dome, still partially visible.
He scanned the room with his flashlight, the darkness revealing more and more of the structure. She moved through the dark corridor, her heart pounding in her chest. Upon returning, the team analyzed their findings, wondering if they had discovered Cao Cao's tomb.
It wasn't a coincidence that people were skeptical, given the history of the site. In 1998, a farmer in the same area found a broken tablet while making bricks. This tablet contained information suggesting that Cao Cao's tomb was nearby. The tablet revealed that the tomb belonged to someone named Lu Qian. From the inscriptions, we learned that Lu Qian was a high-ranking official. The most important part of the tablet was the final section, providing crucial location details.
It described the tomb's location relative to Gaojueqiao, a bridge in the area.
It specified a distance of 1,420 stecks to the west of the bridge. Then, it directed to turn south for a 170 steps to find the tomb of Emperor Wu of Wei.
Emperor Wu of Wei was none other than Cao Cao himself. The location of Cao Cao's tomb was already recorded in Chinese history.
During his life, Cao Cao left two important documents, the Zhongling and the Yiling.
Over a year after issuing the Zhongling, he passed away and left the Yiling.
In his will, he requested to be buried near the west gate of the temple, in a simple tomb. Cao Cao also ordered his descendants to bury him in the western part of the Donghui Terrace. But is this truly the place that Cao Cao mentioned in his will?
Archaeologists are still working to find evidence to prove this theory.
Only the information on the Lu Qian tablet is reliable and holds significant historical value. It is the most accurate and detailed historical record of the burial location. After reaching a final conclusion, the logical explanation for the strange noise was found.
It was caused by a group of tomb robbers who used explosives to enter the site. Once the information about the tomb was made public, the situation became even more dangerous.
Despite regular patrols, the site's remote location made it difficult to prevent robberies.
It wasn't until the Chinese police intervened that the site was finally secured. The presence of the police brought a sudden, unexpected turn in the investigation. During a patrol, the police caught a group of 11 tomb robbers in the act.
After intense questioning, they recovered a Han Dynasty stone tablet with carvings.
The carvings on the stone showed intricate figures and symbols from the past.
Due to the sheer volume of pieces, the robbers had divided them into 3 parts.
After examining the carvings, the experts confirmed they dated back to the Eastern Han Dynasty. They also agreed that this was the approximate age of the tomb.
The detail in the carvings also suggested the owner of the tomb held a high position in the royal court.
But the concern about the robbers' actions remained a major worry for the team.
We don't know which parts of the tomb they stole, and that is a significant loss.
If they took parts of the mural from the walls, the entire tomb structure could be compromised.
Once the rainy season arrives, water will seep in, and the tomb will be at risk of collapsing.
Therefore, the excavation of the tomb must be carried out quickly and with extreme care.
The excavation is something everyone is waiting for, as they are curious about the secrets hidden inside.
On December 12, 2008, the excavation of the ancient Han Dynasty tomb officially began.
It was a moment of celebration for the archaeological team, marking the start of a new chapter.
Before starting, the team carefully examined the tomb's structure to avoid any unfortunate incidents.
The survey showed it was 15 meters deep, and the lower part was 10 meters wide.
It was built with the typical architecture of the Han Dynasty, showing the sophistication of the era.
The first was to excavate from the top down, allowing a full view of the tomb's structure. The second was to excavate from the outside in, following the entrance of the tomb.
The tomb was well protected, and its scale was incredibly difficult to estimate.
Therefore, the second approach was considered more feasible and reasonable.
This method also provided the best conditions for preserving the tomb's original state.
After months of excavation, the shape of the tomb became increasingly clear. It was oriented from west to east, with the entrance built on a slope.
The walls on both sides of the entrance were built in a stepped design.
In addition, 3 sets of remains were found during the excavation.
After expert analysis, one was identified as a man, over 60 years old.
The other 2 were identified as women, between 20 and 40 years old. The tomb had been robbed, and the skull of the man was found with signs of being cut.
Analysis of the man's teeth revealed severe dental problems. Historical records indicate that Cao Cao suffered from severe headaches.
Experts speculate that his dental issues might have been the cause of his condition.
Cross-referencing historical texts with archaeological findings confirms the tomb matches records.
While there is strong evidence that Cao Cao is the tomb's occupant, a definitive proof remains elusive. Although there is no definitive proof, the historical evidence is compelling.
The identity of the tomb's occupant remains a question that haunts the archaeological community.
A new idea was proposed to identify the occupant using DNA analysis.
DNA analysis could confirm the identity of the remains found within the tomb.
However, this proposal led to a significant problem. What could they use for comparison?
The question leads us back to the history of the Three Kingdoms era.
Many people remembered the tomb discovered in 1951, belonging to Cao Shu, Cao Cao's son. But the remains of Cao Shu were lost during a warehouse cleaning.
There was nothing left to compare with the remains from the new tomb.
And even if they could use DNA, the experts had their doubts.
In January 2010, the experts finally provided a response to the DNA proposal.
They explained that the environmental conditions made DNA analysis nearly impossible.
Even if they found descendants, there was no way to prove the tomb belonged to Cao Cao.
This conclusion effectively ended the proposal to use modern DNA technology.
But after much effort, a surprising answer emerged.
As the excavation progressed, the team found a strange hole in the tomb's wall. A team member discovered a small, dark opening in the wall.
It was small, but it led into a much larger space, hidden behind the wall.
The team carefully lowered a tool to investigate the hole's depth.
The scene before them was so incredible that they were left speechless.
It was the entrance to the main tomb, a sight they had been waiting for.
Tragically, the tomb had been broken into by robbers long before it was found.
The bricks used to build the tomb were from the Han Dynasty, standing about 1 meter tall.
And then, something truly remarkable happened. A team member found a small stone tablet with ancient characters carved on it. He wiped away the dirt, and the characters Wei Wu Wang appeared.
The team erupted in excitement, shouting, "We found it! We found it!"
There were other figures in history also called by that title, but this was undoubtedly the legendary commander.
After Cao Cao died, Cao Pi ascended the throne and titled his father Emperor Wu.
It was common for the ruler to use the title Wei Wu Wang to refer to his father. The title was used by Cao Pi and later by his descendants.
This title was also used to refer to Cao Cao during his lifetime.
So, the tomb discovered in Anyang is, in all probability, the tomb of Cao Cao.
At this stage, it seems the tomb found in Anyang is indeed the tomb of Cao Cao.
The excavation continues with the hope of finding more evidence.
The team is finding many historical artifacts that provide further confirmation.
Most of these artifacts are of little monetary value, but they are historically invaluable. The identity of the tomb's occupant is a question that continues to intrigue the world.
But one artifact stands out from the rest, a weapon known as a jian.
This weapon, made of iron or bronze, is a fascinating piece of history.
It had been lost for thousands of years,
and finding it was like finding a treasure. The jian is a weapon that looks like a sword, but it is shorter and designed for throwing. Unlike the sword, which is for close combat, the jian is a short-range throwing weapon.
It functions similarly to a javelin used in ancient Europe.
The jian is a devastating weapon, capable of piercing armor and shields.
However, the jian is very heavy, requiring immense strength to use effectively. Only someone with exceptional physical strength could use it with precision.
Also, the jian is a single-use weapon, as once it is thrown, it is lost.
This makes the production cost of such weapons extremely high.
These limitations led to the jian gradually falling out of favor in military use.
Later, as bows and arrows became more advanced, they replaced the jian entirely.
But thanks to the tomb's discovery, this long-lost weapon has been revealed once again.
In December 2009, the excavation ended successfully, providing many insights. But there is still much to learn about the secrets hidden within the tomb.
In the chaotic era of division, the commander unified the northern territories. This brought stability to the region, allowing people to focus on production and development.
The artifacts found in the tomb are a reflection of the culture and society of that era.
They reflect the Confucian values of the time, emphasizing loyalty and filial piety.
A large number of other stone carvings were also found, depicting various scenes.
They depict daily life, labor, and the artistic expression of the people.
A stone tablet with a dragon carving was also discovered.
3 Wuzhu coins were also found, helping to date the tomb.
These coins are a classic example of the currency used during that time.
The tomb also contains carvings of horses, reflecting their importance in military and social life.
The findings provide a clearer picture of the life of Cao Cao.
The excavation continues, with more secrets waiting to be unearthed.